Okay, so I'm gonna pick up right where we left off here with our sketch. If you remember, what we did was we used these 4 lines of code to control the size of our sketch window, the background color, using the RGB color mode right here with these 3 values. We were able to change the stroke, and we just made it white using one value, meaning we have the option of 0 to 255, 0 being black, 255 being white. And we've drawn this line here. And remember, these first 2 values right here represent the coordinates of the first point on the line along the X and Y, and then the second 2 represent this side right here. So we were able to draw a line. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, though, is actually just go ahead and delete all of this. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is type in void setup. Okay, all right. And let's look at this. Okay, so void setup. Void just meaning that we will not be returning any value. And setup just means the initial information that we need to run this particular sketch that does not need to be repeated. Okay, it'll just be run once and remain static, much like our other sketch. Okay, so we're going to put some things that we want to remain the same in here. And notice how I did this with open and close parentheses. Even though we're not putting a value inside of here, the syntax simply calls for it. So, and also notice that this is all in lowercase, all right? When you dig into processing, sometimes you're going to run into things that are lowercase, sometimes things that are camel-cased, for example, mouse, whoops, pressed. Okay, so this is actually called camel casing here, and you see how this one is lowercase and this one is not. So you really want to pay attention in processing to casing. It is very case sensitive, okay? So, and then we have this open and closed curly braces. Now, we're going to put everything inside of there. And every time I create a curly brace, I like to right away create the closing one. Okay, that just helps keep things organized. And notice how my cursor is next to this one, and then this one has a little box around it. That's to let you know that these are part of the same block. Okay, and as you start drawing lots and lots of blocks, being able to just separate them, it helps you stay organized. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in size again. So same as in the last video, size. Okay, and let's go ahead and run the sketch. Okay, now you see how inside the void setups, it's not really that different than what we were doing before in running a static sketch that's only run once. But we're separating it so that when we can have a draw block that'll be separate from everything that we only run once. Okay? And that will loop. You'll see what I mean. So let's go ahead and type in the background. Okay? And we can keep that same color for now. 192 by comma 64, comma 0, close parentheses, semicolon. Let's go ahead and run the sketch. There we go. Okay, easy enough. Now, I'm going to move outside my setup block and do void draw. Okay, and notice the same exact syntax again. Okay, it's same exact syntax again, and we're just using void draw instead of void setup. Okay, everything that we put inside of here is going to loop frame by frame by frame by frame. Okay, let's see here. So let's go ahead and draw a line again. So let's just, whoops, not a kind, a line. Okay, and we have some room again, so we're going to make a longer line. And we'll do 25, and then we'll go, let's go 70 and 350. Okay, and close parentheses, semicolon, and whoop, what'd I do here? Oh, I forgot a comma. Okay, so I see how it says that? Yeah, so then error gets thrown up right away, which is actually really, really useful. Okay, processing would be a nightmare if it didn't tell you that you had errors. Okay, so let's run the sketch. All right, so we've drawn our line. Okay, easy enough. But here's the thing. Here's what is different about this. You know, yes, we could actually have moved this line up here. Yes, we could have. We just did something very similar to this in the last video without using void draw. So what's the benefit of using draw? This is actually being drawn over and over and over, frame by frame. It's not the same static image as it was before. Of course, pixel-wise, it is. But let me show you something. If I change this to be mouse capital X and mouse capital Y, now I'm saying draw a line that is 150 pixels in, 25 pixels down. But on this side, I want it to follow the x coordinate and y coordinate of the mouse, or the cursor of the mouse, but this is how you write it. Mouse x, mouse y. It's got to be caps, okay? All right, let's run the sketch. Okay, so there's our line, and anywhere I go, I'm able to draw a pattern. See that? Okay, and if I want to, I can change the color of it by writing stroke 255, and we'll make this one white. Okay, so there we go. Now what's happening here is the line is being drawn every frame, okay? And so as you see, if I move fast, it's actually more spread out because it's drawing it each frame, okay? So let's go ahead and let's just experiment here, and let's go mouse Y on that side, okay? And let's see what happens. Okay, so there we go. It's actually, we're able to move up and down along the Y, but on the X, it's still set to that hard point, which is right here, 150 in. Okay, and that's kind of making an interesting pattern. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, we'll go ahead and set this back to 25 for now, and run the sketch again. Okay, so there we go. There's our pattern. Now, the setup block runs once, and the draw block runs repeatedly. So, setup can be used for any initialization. In this case, setting the screen size, making the background orange, and setting the stroke color to white. The draw block is used to handle animation. The size function must always be the first line inside of setup. Okay, so let's get a better idea of how draw works versus setup. I'm going to actually copy this, or actually cut it out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in here, okay? All right, and let's run the sketch. Okay, what's happening now? Okay, it looks like I only have one line here instead of infinite amount of lines, but what's actually happening, it's the same exact thing actually as before, except for right before another line is drawn, the background is drawn again because the background is in draw. So that's the effect that we're getting, all right? And what I want to do now is go ahead and just comment that out. And you see how I did that? I just commented that out and it turned gray. Now processing won't read it. This is how you add comments to processing. And I'm going to put it back up here. Okay, and it's drawing them all over the place again. So that's kind of a nice little demo of how draw actually works. So we undo it down here and we run the sketch, and it's drawing the background. So it's drawing a line, so it's drawing a background, then a line, then a background, then a line, then a background, then a line, every single frame. So it gives you the illusion that there's only one line there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is actually let's add another function to this now that's not drawn every time over and over in a loop. Okay, we'll create a separate block, okay? And we're going to use void, okay? Mouse press, just like we looked at earlier. Mouse pressed, okay? Open and close parentheses, open and close curly braces, like so, all right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and add background again. And I'm going to actually use, let's go ahead and just copy it. I'm going to use the same background that's right here, but I'm going to keep it in here instead. All right. Now, what I want to do then is, let's go ahead and delete it out of draw right here. Now, the background will not be drawn over and over again every time. The background will be drawn in the initial setup, so it'll be this color. And whenever we want, we can draw it again. Okay? Let's go ahead and run the sketch. So we have a pattern, and if we press on the mouse, it draws it again. See that? Draws it again. So instead of doing it every single time and giving the illusion of one line, we're able to draw and then choose when we've drawn over it again. So it draws the background, draws a line. Draws the background, draws a line. And, okay, so let's recap what we have here. We have, with just these lines of code, we were able to control quite a bit of our program. So we're able to control the size of it, right, the pixel width and height. We're able to set the background using the 3 values of the RGB color mode. And let's see what else here. We are able to, in the draw block, draw this line every frame and have the X and Y coordinates of the left side of the line be fixed. and have the X and Y coordinates of the right side of the line follow the mouse around. Okay? And outside of the draw, whenever we choose, as opposed to looping every time, whenever we choose, we can press the mouse and it'll clear again by drawing the background again. And of course it draws the background and instantly draws a line, okay? Because it's just, this is happening every single time no matter what. So we press this once and it also draws a line. Okay, so that is a basic introduction to some really important functions within processing, okay? How to size up your sketch window, how to draw shapes, how to make them interact with your mouse, and how to interact with mouse clicks. Okay, and I'm sure you can see where we're going with that. We are setting up the ability to control our pixels. All right, and we're going to go ahead and get into if-else functions next. So go ahead and check me in the next video. Thanks.